Why are all these people complaining about having to take care of their own kids? If you can't bear to be around your children for too long in isolation or quarantine, you probably should have put more consideration into procreating. I'm floored by all the posts where parents complain about hour 4 of day 1 of being home with the kids, about to go insane. I literally just saw a post where a woman asked, "How the hell am I expected to just stay at home with my kids for days on end? WTH. They're your kids. Why did you have them if you don't want to be around them?" I'm not trying to start a side discussion about Sam vs daycare, but damn. Y'all act like having to raise your own kids a while is abnormal. I've seen both sides, as a single mom and later as a Sam. I just don't get the mentality that you can't stand to be around your own offspring for too long. I get your routines are off, I get things aren't ideal, I get it's difficult keeping them isolated, but I miss the memo that life should always be ideal, so all these people acting like it's just horrible to have to spend days on end with their kids blows my mind. As a single mother, my mom stayed home with us until we were both old enough to attend school. We were very poor, but our days were filled with games and stories. She'd let us help her cook. Every minute of her day was spent together with her children in one aspect or another. As a direct result, we are an incredibly close family. I told my mother once that if heaven was real, mine would be back at that old trailer, at the edge of town, spending the rest of eternity with my family. Build a life you don't need a vacation from. I think that's the overall view here. My partner is a manager at an organization and one of the staff refuses to stay home because she doesn't want to be around her own kids. This is forcing the managers to rotate shifts because the staff are not allowed to be on site without a manager present. It's like, why are you even having kids? I guess for some people it's family and cultural pressures, but just imagine being a kid and finding out your mom or dad can't stand to be around you for more than a couple hours a day. Because of this quarantine, there's going to be a procreating boom anyway, lol. This is exactly why I don't want kids. Being a parent is a full-time thing. 100% of the time you are a parent. Sorry you didn't realize what you signed up for. Everyone is freaking out about coronavirus. People are getting laid off. Stores aren't stocked. People are stressed out, and they're bitching to bitch. I know my life was already stressful enough before this shit broke out. My sil just had her kid in early March right after her other kid got done spending 2 weeks in the hospital after almost dying from an asthma attack. People are stressed. People are joking about staying home with their kids, and some are actually serious, but I'd give them a break. I don't think anyone actually hates their kids. I think they're just freaking out because things are changing and things have already been stressful enough as it is without coronavirus strolling along to make shit even crazier. Shit, I'm in the middle of closing on a house. I can't imagine how stressed I'd be if we had a kid. I've worked with other women who bragged that they only worked because they couldn't stand being with their kids all the time. I never understood why people like that even had kids in the first place. Tax breaks, I guess. They are the same parents who complain about the long school holidays every year. If you don't like being with your kids, don't have them. Some people are joking. Others are just bad parents. I, for one, am loving every minute of working from home with my 1-month-old baby boy in a country that scoffs at the idea of paternity leave. My concern is for essential personnel, like medical and emergency services. How will they perform their necessary functions if they have to watch their kids due to school/daycare being closed? Where am I supposed to keep my kids? In my house? Where I live? I love my kids. I have 3. What I'm not used to is going nowhere, not school, park, grandma's house, trying to help them with not just homework, but actual schoolwork, making sure they aren't wasting food, and figuring out tomorrow and future days when I have to go to work. I'm a nurse, and husband is home but working. This is exactly how I feel about the parents who last until about noon with their kids and then bring them into daycare despite Gov-issued warnings. Most parents are keeping their kids home for their own health, so much so our classes are only maybe 1/4 full. Like y'all know we don't want you here and wish we were closed so we could go home and be safe too, right? Maybe. The reality is that some people did make a mistake in having kids, and they are regretting it now. But all they can do to cope with their regret is complain on social media. Especially given current world circumstances. And yes, fair point, maybe lots of, people didn't put enough consideration into procreation, for whatever reason, or maybe they had no choice when got pregnant. There are some places where birth control/abortion aren't options. I thinks it's a sad situation to be in, when you regret and resent being a parent, when the reality of how hard it is sets in. Sad for both for parent and children. And sometimes those feelings of regret and resentment fluctuate, especially after a particularly difficult day. And maybe people vent those intermittent feelings in a safe way on the internet to strangers, rather than taking them out on their kids. Which, I for one, think is probably healthier. Can I ask, is it the complaining about it that upsets you? Or the underlying feelings of not being able to cope? Honestly, the hardest thing is not going anywhere or doing anything with them. They can't have friends over, the weather has been crap where I live and I'm just not looking forward to it happening. So far they've just cancelled school, but being stuck at home with 4 bored kids and no way to get out and really stretch our legs or get away from each other more than separate rooms is going to be hard. I'm really thinking I am going to need to structure our days and have mandatory separation time and hope it doesn't keep raining, or at least warms up so they can go out in the rain. I'm so grateful we are in a house right now and have the room to spread out if need be. Thank you. It has amazed me how many people are bitching that their kids are home. This is my kids' home, so yeah, I'm okay with it whenever they're home. They are your children, little loud people that you made from scratch. Deal with them the same as you do in summer or school vacay. I think being around anyone for days on end without a break is difficult. I was super stoked to be home all day with the family at our first, but we've had 3 days of being crammed in our little rental all together, and of course it's frustrating. Little things start to annoy you more and more as time goes on, and kids don't understand boundaries and what it's important to just be quiet and relax sometimes. The kids are also frustrated. My son misses his friends and teachers and all the normal stuff he does, so he is upset and confused, and even though we explain what's going on, it still makes him sad. And that's just the basic annoyances of being in close proximity with someone without relief for days. If you have financial problems or are in a place where crazy people hoarded all the day-to-day necessities, then you've got added stresses. We had our propane delivery delayed because of so many people panicking and ordering more, and they had to reduce their delivery drivers, so we are now without heat or hot water for 2 days. We originally were going to shower at the gym, but yesterday they all got shut down and our gas company doesn't have an exact day we will have our delivery. So we gave to use a small electric grill for food, and we don't know how long we will have to do that for, which is extremely frustrating because we can't even reliably get basic groceries because of the panic.